Greetings and welcome to this special ICCG webinar podcast series under Transform to Lead. I am Bala Anantarama, and I'm happy to introduce you to a dynamic and trailblazing business advisory firm, Confluential, today. Confluential is bringing fresh energy and intelligent tools to enterprise transformation. In dialogue with me today is Kyler Cheatham, Chief Performance Officer. I love that title, Kyler. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And one of the founding partners of Confluential. Kyler is a leading influencer, spokeswoman, innovator, and a thought leader. As a 40 under 40 winner and global women in tech speaker, she knows what it takes to affect change through strategy and influence. Over the next 27 minutes, we will learn from Kyler what Confluential is all about, the target clients that they serve, their unique approach to business advisory, and how they are using artificial intelligence to transform enterprise software evaluation and selection through their tool, River.AI, River.AI. We will also hear examples of client success stories and how you can connect with them to start your own journey in business transformation. So, Kyler, thanks again. Appreciate you giving us this gift of your time. Let's dive in. And straight away, what we would love to hear from you is, who is Confluential?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm honored to be here and joined by this beautiful audience. So in short, the Confluential is a technology performance firm that really focuses on helping industrial manufacturers really receive and drill down in their ROI around their technology investments. When we built the firm, it's a very no fluff type of approach and just focusing on how you get the value from your technology, whether it be an ERP system, a new AI pilot, an MES system, as quick and as quality as possible.
That's great. Thank you for giving that perspective on Confluential. As the name suggests, it aptly symbolizes the belief in the power of convergence between business goals, strategies, people power, operational processes, and technology, all coming together with intelligence. Given this, who are the ideal customers for Confluential, Kyla?
Yeah, so a lot of times our customers really focus on organizations that are in a complex manufacturing space, whether that's operational, strategic, technological. It's really the understanding of the cost that it takes to get things done and leveraging technology or business processes to be able to achieve that. So we have a focus in process and discrete manufacturing. We work a lot in the metals business or heavy automotive industrial manufacturing. And that's kind of where we've always found our values align. We're very grounded in values of integrity, in hard work, in discipline. Technology implementations are difficult no matter what, anyone else wants to tell you. And a lot of times those large to mid-sized manufacturing clients align with our values quite nicely.
That's very well stated, Kyler. And you highlighted some of the industry verticals that is very much in the focus of Confluential's consulting offerings. Just to, again, highlight their metals you mentioned as an industry, and we at ICCG actually have the privilege of being a silver sponsor at an very interesting ERP shootout event coming together in Schaumburg, Illinois on July 16 and 17, which is very focused in the metal forming industry. So we expect a good amount of metal forming manufacturing, discrete manufacturing companies to show up there, and we will be able to address them as to what it takes to go forward with this journey in a very appropriate manner. And Kyler, we would love to ensure that if there is a way you can also participate in that with us, that will be a great value add. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you for giving that backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand that there are many business process software evaluation advisory consulting firms
Mm-hmm.
out there. We ourselves collaborate and have worked with a few of them. You also come with a good background
Mm-hmm.
with that space. How do you think Confluential differs in your approach from an advisory standpoint, very different from what is today in play in the marketplace?
Yeah, I think our approach, we call it our speed to value methodology. It really marries the business and the technology advisory. A lot of times we see that technology advisory be a very siloed area, and we believe that it has to align with the business goals to drive a strategic and successful technology roadmap. So we're very less focused on hours and more focused on outcomes. That's just the way that we partner with the firms, that we have the opportunity to serve. And it's really blending the implementation with the overall business strategy, fewer kind of handoffs and more unity and collaboration. And that's kind of what sets us apart. We call ourselves a technology performance firm in order to lay down the accountability of what we have to the client, right? Their technology needs to perform and produce to achieve their goals, not anybody else's goals. So we are there from the strategic approach of what are we going to do with our business processes and technology all the way through implementation and then the optimization phase. So it's a very long-term relationship. And then we support from really conception, even preconception to completion.
Yeah, I think that's a big value add and a pretty key differentiator as well. Particularly, what I'm hearing from you is that your journey starts, of course, in helping a business, first of all, identify a roadmap for evaluation process to go into works. You support that entire evaluation and selection of an enterprise software. But of course, prior to that, you are doing good value consulting to ensure that the client has outlined very clearly what problems they are trying to solve to
Mhm.
get ahead in their business. And you are just not leaving it out there at the end of a solution selection, but you are further handholding your customers to ensure that the implementation is done well and is providing the planned return on investment as a
Mhm.
positive outcome. So that clearly I see as a complete value providing
Mhm.
advisory business that you are in. So thank you for doing that. I think the
Mhm.
mid-market customers clearly feel that is a requirement that is missing with some of the other advisory firms. So
Mhm.
that's a big
Mhm.
value add you're bringing in. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely. It's our pleasure.
Yeah, I know that the other big game changer that you are addressing this and being very aligned with what is latest, greatest in the marketplace, which is artificial intelligence, is you have, as part of a Confluential website itself also added this River.AI AI agent, which enables any prospective client who wants to engage with Confluential get on there to your website and kind of take a ride with River.AI, wherein there is a self-directed, uh, question approach for guiding them through on
Mhm.
addressing some of their questions around the right solution for the business. I think that's very innovative. That's a game-changing approach, adopting the latest, best approaches built on AI. Can you share a little more insights on what prompted you to create something like River.AI to be part of Confluential offering, and how do you see that as another way of value adding to your clients?
Absolutely. I think, one of our core values is access. So much in our industry, these mid markets or even SMB clients don't have the same access to a shortlist, or even our large organizations are paying something like six figures just so they can get a shortlist to look at for their ERP provider. So we worked, with our great network of colleagues in the industry. We come from a provider agnostic background. So much of our network is provider agnostic. We took all of their selection databases and built a custom Hatch database that we call. And it gives you the opportunity to go through and actually build your shortlist in real time. And so it gives you 3 to 4 recommendations on different vendors, on different systems within your industry and to meet your goals. That gives you more of a decision intelligence around where you should be moving towards with your selection. Just like we talked about, a lot of it has to do with business strategy. It's less about the technology and more about what are you trying to achieve, right? And so being able to have a tool that gives every business that same access to this information was something that we just felt like was missing in the marketplace. And our colleagues agreed, which is why they, agreed to share their data over 20, 30 years of a career in provider agnostic consulting with us so we could build this proprietary database and give it to the industry as a method of service.
That's incredibly powerful, Kyla, especially for businesses who are overwhelmed and not sure how
Mhm.
to embark on their journey of evaluation and selection of the right fit enterprise systems in alignment with their optimized business processes. And also, what it takes to really get a return on investment for such strategic initiatives. Also, you're spot on. Like, we have participated in n number of software evaluations, selections processes over the last decade or so. In fact, more than that. And I can share with you that sometimes, though we are a solution provider, we really pity and feel, what a rigor
Mhm.
advisory firm really is putting a client through
Mm.
to eventually get a shortlist and
Yeah.
then get to a finalist.
Mhm.
I mean, it just drags the very
Oh,
process
yeah.
itself out to, I've seen 6 months, 9 months, sometimes even 12 months. And I don't think that is wise use of a business's time versus what you here are trying to really put forward, which I sincerely appreciate and respect, is again, this need not be made such a complicated process.
Mhm.
If your enabler with River.AI is bringing that top three solutions, which for a given prospective customer fits for their key business processes, for their industry, preserving their competitive advantage, and
Mhm.
is able to therefore move forward with that journey to very quickly get to that finalist and find a best fit solution for them
Mhm.
and ensure that they get on to this journey quicker because these are very time sensitive initiatives. And if it is drawn too long, I've seen fatigue certain organizations and projects not really going anywhere. But
Mhm.
the businesses would have still nevertheless spent ton of money, which is
Mhm.
not where really they should be putting the money on. They have
Mhm.
more important things to invest in. So thank you for this initiative. I am a great proponent of River.AI. I personally, when a prospect reaches out to me saying we are looking for an ERP, I am now going by default to confluential.com,
Oh,
checking on
thank you.
River.ai, and you would have seen possibly about 3 to 4
Mhm.
already, the leverage of River.ai for different prospective clients of ours I've used. And I can again vouch for the validity, the authenticity, and the right advice that River.ai is bringing to these kind of prospective clients. Thank you for that initiative, Kyla.
Oh, you're welcome. And I invite, when you do use the tool, we always have our vendor partners provide feedback. That's what I asked of you, Bala, is to
Yeah.
go through and see if you can break it or see if it gives you an answer that you don't feel like is appropriate. It's a collaborative tool for our community. So if you are out there and you feel as though it's not giving you what you think, we accept data every single day from our vendor partners that thinks there should be an updated list. So there's no gatekeeping with this tool. It's a access built that features all kinds of different data inputs from our partners in the industry as well.
Yeah, thank you. And 100% we will leverage it and provide a pretty good feedback. I think there is a
Oh yeah.
partnership that is very valuable here. So, Kyler, just to give our prospective world of audience here uh, more insights, some of your favorite stories, how
Mhm.
you have helped customers to really navigate this journey much easier than what it sounds to be. Can you share some of your customer success stories or
Yeah.
engagement? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, the one that comes to mind is, something we're involved in. It's a $1 billion plus aluminum manufacturer. And they were looking for just basic direction on their technology. They had purchased an ERP system to implement in one of their plants. It wasn't going the way they were hoping it was going. And they were pretty unique in that they had a full agile team. So a lot of times when you engage a firm, they often aren't familiar with agile or agile just overall language. Because as you know, Bala, they speak a different language, right? So we came in and kind of did a full assessment because they honestly weren't really sure what they need. And I think normalizing that conversation of, hey, I know I need something, but I'm not sure what it is. And a lot of times that's not even technology, right? It's process work. It's, just overall understanding the strategy of outputs. They were looking for something that was going to support a very heavy manufacturing process as well as use automation and AI. And what we did was came in, looked at their ERP implementation, kind of got under the hood and said, you know what? It's not so much the ERP here, it's the gaps within your MES, so manufacturing execution system. We helped them go through a selection while they were able to pull out their requirements for the selection. They were able to introduce some very cool AI and automation on their smart factory floor. For example, they have this adorable little train that goes around the manufacturing plant and picks up different raw materials to bring to the right place. A lot of times, as we know, AI is this kind of magical narrative that's talked about in the marketplace. In manufacturing, it's not that magical, right? There's very cool things that we can do with it, but there's also a lot of human oversight that needs to come within a manufacturing environment. So the issue with this train is it would get stuck in different places. What we were able to help them do is set up an integration with different communication systems. So now they get a Teams message from the train itself that says, "Hey, I'm stuck, and please help me in this area." So the human operator knows, and there's no downtime in the facility. So that's just an example of how we're utilizing AI and automation, looking at their core ERP system while recommending more manufacturing focused technology, all kind of in one engagement. We're not going to come in and say, "Hey, we just do MES systems or we just do AI." Our job there is to listen to the customer's needs and make sure that we're addressing them. So with this client currently, they're finishing up they're finished their MES selection, and they're going into implementation in starting in 2026 while still going through their ERP agile deployment, which is a big thing. Bala, in the industry,
Yeah,
that can be something to that's quite the undertaking. But that's why we're here, not to recommend one technology over the other, but to make sure that you understand all that goes into an implementation, the resources, the cost, the partnerships, through all of those different vendors that you need to oversee. And that's one of my favorite examples of just a great collaboration where we are treated like a partner with our client. There's lots of technology happening, but it's more about the trust of knowing that we're not here to sell you technology. We're here to make sure that you actually get return on that. We don't care what you implement, when you implement, or what you choose, as long as you choose something that is successful for you.
that's very well stated, Kyler. And I think the big takeaway for me, and which I want to again uh, amplify here from a confluential point of view, is let the message be very clear. Businesses need not just ERP systems, but there are other very strategic applications, systems that all combine together to make a business thrive and grow. Your example clearly pointed out to the value add coming in from a manufacturing execution system evaluation
Mhm.
and selection, which goes hand in hand with the ERP. I'm sure your answer will be yes, but would love to hear your thoughts. Similarly, there are other strategic applications. It could be a warehouse management system.
Absolutely.
It could be a supply chain planning system. It could be a customer relationship management, or for that matter, even a human capital management system,
Mhm.
right? So all those are under the purview of Confluential's
Mhm.
support for the customers. You don't look at it only from one perspective of one breed of technology, but you bring in everything that comes into play in a business for their own journey forward. Is that a fair statement, Kyla?
Oh, yeah, most certainly. And it really depends on the client. It's their project and their ownership, right? So we come in and present, like, well, here's all that you can do, because we know in today's landscape within software, especially in enterprise software, there's so many options. You
Yeah.
can go microservices, you can go modular, there's about 400 AI vendors. And what we always bring is that experience to the conversation and our partnership with people like you, so that we're able to say, "Hey, you know what? There's lots of very cool innovations in the marketplace, but there's something to be said for experience." Right? Especially in today's technology landscape. So, being able to partner with an established vendor is really, really critical. So, you aren't losing lots of money and not getting support. So, that's really our goal, is going in and seeing what do you need, and here are your options. You need to choose because you're going to have ownership over this project.
Great. So, Kyla, how can our audience engage with Confluential?
Absolutely. Well, we always love, to hear from our community, hence why we built River.AI. You can visit our website. It's theconfluential.com. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. We also have a YouTube channel for both The Confluential. I host an industry podcast that's called Bite Size. And you can find that on YouTube, and we do Bite Size Lives every week. And you can find that on LinkedIn as well as TikTok. So we're all over the place. Definitely feel free to reach out. We also have a bite-sized newsletter on LinkedIn as well that we feature a lot of different innovations going on in the marketplace. Our next one is about quantum computing and how that kind of fits into this bigger kind of industry 4.0, 5.0, whatever you want to call it, space. So it's definitely a community more than an audience. We're very active in listening. So we definitely invite you to stop by and tell us what you think.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Kyla, for sharing your journey, your philosophy, and this very exciting innovation
Mhm.
with River.AI. We at ICCG believe in spotlighting firms that are pushing the industry forward, and for sure, Confluential is certainly one to watch. And both you and Adam are doing an amazing role here to really propagate what is of value to the business world, particularly in the manufacturing and distribution space. Thank you. And to our listeners, appreciate you joining us for more insights on digital transformation and business strategy and industry specific enterprise systems. Stay tuned to our ICCG podcast series. We at ICCG, very similar to Confluential, help businesses to really navigate what type of technology solutions are best suited for the business, given their very unique micro vertical business needs. We also address solutions that is all encompassing, ranging from ERP to CRM to warehouse management, supply chain planning, PLM, product lifecycle management, and on top of that, human capital management and more. So stay tuned to our ICCG podcast series. Until next time, stay inspired and stay informed. Thank you. Thank you again, Kyla. Appreciate your
Yeah.
time.
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye.
much for featuring me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.